Do I really need a virtual assistant? That's a very common question I hear when I'm talking to friends and colleagues in the industry running all different kinds of businesses. It's like, oh, do I really need one? Let me explain why you might need one. I'll give you a little bit of a checklist coming right up. So I've lost count of the number of sort of friends in business that I've chatted to, and it's usually over a cup of coffee, and I'm always talking about how wonderful my VA team is, and how it's helped me grow my business. And they say, I don't know if I'm ready for a VA yet. And they've probably been in business for a few years. They're generally a mumpreneur, or they're a sole operator, sort of doing everything themselves, or they've got a very small team. Let me share some thoughts with you on some things that might be a little bit of a trigger for you to think about getting virtual assistant support. And if you're not really sure what virtual assistants are and how they work, I don't want to cover all of that in this video, but if you look around on the channel, there are dozens of videos all about that. And in fact, there's a playlist further down, I think, which is all about hiring VAs and stuff like that. So how do you know if you need one? What are some of the symptoms or signs? I reckon there are probably 3 from personal experience. Sign number 1 is, how many hours a week do you work? Particularly if you're a solo operator and you're delivering product and service to your clients, you're doing all the back office stuff, you're doing the marketing, the accounts and so on. How many hours a week do you really work? I can tell you, when I started my first business, which was management consulting, I was working at least 70 or 80 hours every week, sometimes over 100, and it kind of becomes the norm, which is really sad, because your health suffers, your relationships suffer. That's not good. I would say if you are working regularly 60 hours a week, it's time to start thinking about a VA. Point number 2, what do you spend your time on? Are you spending a lot of those 60 plus hours a week on little mundane day-to-day things? Things that could easily be delegated to someone else, and things that are taking you away from the much more important elements of your business, which is sales, marketing, looking after your clients, doing the filing, doing your social media, monitoring emails and diaries and all this sort of stuff. Is that... Someone once said to me, an overseas VA costs you maybe $5 an hour. And how do you price your time? Let's say it's $100 an hour. Are you doing a $5 an hour task at the moment? Because if you are, you should be delegating that to a virtual assistant, and you shouldn't be doing it, because your time is much more valuable in terms of bringing in customers, delivering services, and so on. So number 1, how many hours are you working? Number 2, what are the sorts of things that you're doing? Number 3, I would say, what's your wish list look like? I always had a wish list before I had support. I'm going to get a new website done, or I'm going to develop a new product, or we really must embark on this new marketing campaign. We really must set up a better CRM, all of those things. And when you're working 60 hours plus a week, guess what? Well, they're never going to get done. So I think that's another trigger as well, to sort of say, hey, why don't I get some support on board, and someone else can do all of this. And it was funny, I was talking to a guy in the US this morning who, this was, I think last week I mentioned this, but this is a different guy in the US. So there was, I think the other story was about a guy who started with us about 2 months ago, and he was delighted about how it was all going. This story is about a guy who's asking himself that question, do I need a VA? And it was interesting because I said to him, what kind of personality character do you want as a virtual assistant? And he said, I want somebody like your executive assistant. I know exactly what you mean. You're probably very disorganized, forget things, not good at prioritizing, not good at managing your time. I said, you want a personal assistant who's going to manage you, don't you? Anyway, yes, that's exactly what I need. So, that can be one of the benefits too. If you get a really great VA, and luckily I've got a whole bunch of them, I don't have to remember stuff. I don't have to worry about stuff because they do. That's their job. And they remind me of things. So if you're new to the idea of virtual assistants, there's a couple of thoughts for you. Do you need one yet? So those 3 questions: how many hours are you working? What sort of tasks are you doing? And is there a whole bunch of stuff that you just can't get to? And also, how would it be if someone helped you to manage your time and getting things done? Really cool. Okay, so a very common question: do I need a virtual assistant? Hopefully that's helped. If you have any questions on the topic, as always, by all means do please comment down below, ask questions, give feedback on your experiences. You know, let's all share and learn from each other, which is really cool. If you're new to the channel, don't forget, you don't know yet. If you're new to the channel, we have videos coming out every week, generally on a Tuesday evening, Sydney, Australia time. And if you want to see those as soon as they come out, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. So thanks for watching. See you next week.